What is happening, people? Let's walk through what I'm kind of expecting for this week. We had the masterclass last night with the group. Last week was actually a very good week. 5% gain-ish for me. But there was a lot of actual quality trades on EU and GU. So that is fine. Let's kind of get into what we're looking at this week. So we have now on EURUSD created a really good liquidity pool that sits around this break. So I think that's going to be enough to throw us up a little bit. As you can see on the daily, if you kind of look at the daily, we're getting really good rejection from that area, given where we are. So I'm expecting to kind of push through. Yeah, it's giving a bit of reaction off here, but I'm expecting either a big push through like that or to flush to the downside. I'm expecting more or less the upside, as you can see on that 4 hour. I don't think this point will hold. It is a valid decisional of this break. It did take a little bit of liquidity and we have pushed through the demand to supply already. But I think it's more likely for us to buy through this. So if we look at the 15-minute now, we don't really have anything to work with. It's creating really good structure to the downside. It's actually come into the last, I think this is the hourly point that sits there. So we've come into the last hourly point. We still have lots of imbalance in this area here, so we can come higher. But as you kind of see, we're getting that really good liquidity sweep and push to the downside. Until price kind of makes its way and does something like that, I'm not open to selling. I would much rather just see this kind of flush down and then look to buy through a point when we get to London Open, which is about in an hour. So we've got a long time, but I'm expecting a higher chance of us buying. There's lots of liquidity there, at least coming to this extreme 4 hour, this internal 4 hour we've got here. I think it's very likely. And as you can see on the daily, really strong candle to the downside, and we could get one back up to the upside. So today will kind of depict the direction for the entire week, I would say. If we flush down, we're obviously coming lower. We've got lots of imbalance to fill in here, some imbalance in here, and we may actually be coming for lower lows somewhere around here. So today will kind of depict what the go is with that. On G, more or less seeing the same thing. We've come into the decisional of this break now. This also could be considered the extreme, given where we are. On the daily, as you can see, we've got a really good reaction to the upside so far off of this point, and we've got heaps of imbalance to fill. So I would like to fill this daily imbalance as a minimum, realistically. On the 4 hour, I'm expecting us to push up. This is retest of this break here. It is a demand to supply as well. So I would think it'd be more likely for us to at least come and take this internal high here. So I would like to buy to that. On the 15-minute, we actually don't have much to work with yet. We are in this point, which I think will be a smart money trap. So realistically, if we can come and basically sweep what we've done and then come and take this point here, this will give us really good manipulation to look to buy through that. So G is actually in a really good spot. If it furthers to like push itself up, I will rather the sell to buy. But at the moment, I really do like the idea of buying that through that. If you jump on the hourly, like I said, this point is more retest of this internal point. So if we're going to get a bit of reaction, it should be from up here. Like I said, it makes more sense to buy today. So I would like to buy through this point and continue to the upside. AU is exactly the same thing. We've finally pushed up and taken all of this liquidity here, which we were expecting last week. On the daily, it's looking quite bullish at the moment. Given we have taken that liquidity, it can actually be an inducement on that daily. So on the daily time frame, we may actually get a bit of a push down in this direction here to either take this to then push back up, or we could start to get some bearish movement, given that we are actually in a weekly point. Okay, a weekly point that was took liquidity and was a result of a big move to the downside, and this break here. So we are in that extreme. It should give a bigger action. It's just a matter of if it wants to. If you jump on the 15-minute, you can kind of see, like I said, we've taken that high. Kind of a nice inducement. We did actually take the internal break and retest here, so I'm going to mark that out as my inducement, and we've come into that area. So whether or not we come further to fill this imbalance, we may or may not. We have induced low. Realistically, I would like to come and take this and then get a sell through that targets this liquidity. Sells make a lot more sense on AU, but just understand we have now got bullish structure. So given that's kind of what's going on with AU, you've just got to be open to both, which is a bit of a pain, but understanding that's the case, it does definitely line up with the DXY, EU and GU, and so forth, but this has induced into the mitigation, so I do like sells better on AU coming into today. Just understand huge imbalance. We'll need more structure. So I don't see it as tradable today. I just see sells being the kind of the go. As for the DXY, we've started to confirm a bit of bearish structure coming down in here, but now we've actually induced the decisional that broke through our internal range. I'm expecting just to keep pushing higher. I would say we're going to at least come up to this imbalance area here today. I would say we're going to push through because we are in the middle of an imbalance, but understanding the liquidity we've built here is valid for us now to push down, given we've got that liquidity to the downside. I just think it's more likely for us to push up. I think at least giving us a retracement today makes a lot of sense, especially given what's kind of happened in here and where we are. But we'll kind of see. So that's what I'm thinking today. The DXY given EU and GE, because EU and GE I want to buy, the DXY does make sense to flush a little bit further to the downside and sell. We've just got order flow sitting here. It's kind of in the last point. So realistically, I would kind of like to see that, and that selling momentum will be the buying momentum on EU and GU, and then we can kind of play from there. So we may sell from here on EU. It is a possibility. Like I said, we've now induced into the mitigation area of that point. I just think it's definitely unlikely. But it's Monday. We're starting the complex pullback possibly. So we'll have to wait for some good movement, and we can go from there. As for the premium guys, I'll see you tomorrow in the live stream. And yeah, apart from that, links are all in the description below. Let's have a good week. And yeah, let's smash it out.